All right, looks like we're live. Let me just double check and make sure everything's going fine here on the YouTubes. And dead air, dead air, dead air. I know. Okay, sounds all right. People in the chat, let me know if the voice is breaking up. Although I do believe by tomorrow I should have a little upgrade for the laptop that I think will take care of that problem. So hopefully. All right. Couple of things I want to talk about. First, let's and I wish I had Luke here for the pictures, but don't worry, I'll probably cover it again Saturday. If you go to the fine crowdfunding site called Indiegogo, and you look up indiegogo.com/projects/cushy game number the number sign, I should say. Or just, Google Indiegogo and Cushy, you'll find it. You'll find an interesting little project here on the Indiegogo. And I'm just gonna read to you what these people are about and what they're hoping to accomplish. Let's see. Cushy is an online multiplayer fighting game / card game mashup. 2 players, each controlling a tag team of Cushy combatants, battle it out for ultimate Cushy superiority. The game does not end until one player's combatants have both been humiliated. I think we're pretty much start off with them being humiliated, and taken out with a class-themed finishing move. The last player with a fighter still standing wins. Combatants are grouped into 3 archetypes: AB, DL, and Caretaker. For those of you unfamiliar with what those 2 acronyms mean, first of all, you should be proud of yourself that you're unfamiliar with what those 2 acronyms mean. But those acronyms mean adult baby and diaper lover, respectively. Each archetype comes with its own unique moveset, along with a globally shared set of double trouble tag team attacks. To attack, like inputting a combo in a fighting game, you chain together specific cards from your hand. Cushy combatants use, I don't care how the fuck you play it. Let's see. Let's go through here. Combat system, Cushy progress. Here it is. Okay. The game will be completed regardless of funding at my own expense. This person is passionate about this. Shame on all you that have a dream and don't follow it, because this person's dream is wrong and they still follow it. This project is far too important to me to leave undone, because the world needs this. I have an alpha up and running already. Let's see, what do we got here? Funding this game, depending on what level choose, will get you $1. And I'm skipping around, by the way, because I don't want to read all this because life is short. $1 access to the finished game. $15 beta access to WIP builds. $50 a cameo appearance for your OC in the crowd watching the match unfold. $100 a cameo appearance for your OC in a special attack / finishing move. Well, that's just money well spent right there. You can finally get your cringy Sonic the Hedgehog recolor into this cringy fucking game. Frequently asked questions. Here we go. I'm not sure why one of the frequently asked questions isn't what the hell is wrong with you. The answers to some common questions. Are furries allowed? Cushy is furry friendly. The game is for the entire community. At least a couple of core classes will be of the fluffy variety. How do I contact you? Top right of the campaign, ask a question, or email at drizzlerinaraincloud, all one word, at gmail.com. So if you have any questions for this person, please feel free to ask. Um, how will you monetize the game? The game will only cost $1 after release. So wait, shouldn't okay, I'm overthinking this. I'm almost like acting like this is a real thing that should actually be happening. But shouldn't the backers get the game at a little cheaper or something? I mean, shouldn't the game cost $2 if backers are getting it for $1 or something? What's the point of backing it for $1? If you could just pay $1 for it later, or better yet, you could just not buy it and have fucking self-respect. But I guess that's not an option for some of these people. So whatever. Why am I sticking up for people that would spend money on this? What am I doing here? I only care to charge enough to keep the servers running. If I make more, grand. If I'm not going to nickel and dime you guys over core content. Oh dear God, this person has more scruples than the AAA industry. That's fucking sad. Well, they're really passionate about the project. In all fairness, my only planned pay for feature right now is the ability to fully customize the look and feel of your class with your own custom art. Oh God. Okay. I gotta get through this. Let's see. The other frequently asked questions is balance. I don't care. Who cares? Will the game support playing offline? I don't care. I'm not going to read that. Will there be any male cushy combatants? I plan to have at least one male combatant, if not more. I want a mix of genders. Oh, God. Well, there's 57 of them now, isn't there? So you have to have a lot of characters. Though there's likely to be more female fighters than male when all of the classes are done. Can I use my YCH slot for a licensed character? I don't even. What is that, like your character in it? Oh, I see what they're saying. Okay. Sorry, friend. No, I don't want anything in the game that could cause me troubles with the law. Okay. Yeah, so this is an actual thing. Playing devil's advocate for a second here. I'm hardly a virgin myself, and I'm a bit of a recovering degenerate, though not quite to the extent of some of the people featured in a Mr. Matoker or Common Folk video. But to some extent, I can understand age play because, I mean, look, I've played a little teacher-student role play in my day, okay? And I don't think any man who's bedded more than, I'm going to say, 3 women tops hasn't been called daddy, all right? Yeah, you get down with some of that. That could be fun. But when you're shitting or pissing yourself, you've gone pretty far down the rabbit hole there. Where, yeah, you know, I mean, look, I've dabbled in the old BDSM and black arts some, all right, but I haven't gone that far down the rabbit hole, all right. I've not soiled myself, nor have I been with someone that has soiled themselves, all right. I'm pretty sure if ever in a romantic encounter one of us was to soil themselves, that would be the end of it. That would be like, one of us had too much to drink, or maybe we had the stomach bug or something, because it wasn't on purpose. I can assure you. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Oh, Lordy. Wow. So yeah, I just thought that was something I should share with you all. If you feel like backing a crowd, I mean, hell, it probably couldn't turn out worse than Mighty Number 9, could it? I mean, that game shit itself by accident. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? I don't know. A lot of people are kind of talking about the Fire Colbert thing. I don't know that I have a lot to add on that, other than, I mean, it's just amusing when the different heads of the liberal hydra snap at each other. And this isn't the first time he's had some leftist lunatics go after him. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really have anything. I mean, you want to fire Colbert, fire him because he's not fucking funny, and I think his ratings suck. But then most of television's ratings suck right now. I don't know. Maybe he can have one of those fine developers of that cushy game. That'll bring up his ratings. Actually, sadly, it probably would. People love a freak show. Yeah, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. There's something interesting. I guess I should put out a trigger warning here. I'm gonna do a little counter signaling. So y'all be warned here. By the way, I'm so sick of hearing the fucking phrase counter signaling. All right, enough's enough. It's always, because I'm gonna be talking about Richard Spencer a little bit here. And it's always this fucking Dick Rider fans that want to come out here and tell me I'm counter signaling if I go after him. But they don't think he's counter signaling if he attacks other people on the right. No, it's only counter signaling when you attack him. Get fucked. I don't have time for it. All right. I'm gonna say what the fuck I think about shit. All right. I don't counter signaling. I don't care anymore. All right, whatever. So a couple of things I noticed with Mr. Spencer this week. Number one, Milo is kind of attempting to make a comeback. He's trying to rebuild a bit of an online media empire or whatever. And Richard Spencer's having none of it because, I guess there's only room for one attention-seeking sodomite in the alt-right. So yeah, Spencer's having none of it. And by the way, I use the term alt-right in the broadest sense of the term. Just alternative right, new right, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm not trying to get caught up in the alt-white versus alt-light or whatever the fuck. Alternative right-wing types. People outside the mainstream of the right wing. And that's a pretty broad spectrum of people. But anyways, so yeah, Spencer is having none of and again, Spencer goes after Milo, but he's not counter signaling. But if a Milo fan criticizes Spencer, then he is counter signaling because that's apparently a entirely one-way fucking standard. And honestly, like I said, if we're going to have an attention-seeking sodomite in the alt-right, I'll pick Milo over Spencer because Milo's at least funny sometimes, all right? Plus, I kind of think Milo still has a bit of his soul left. Like I really see Milo one day just burning out on hedonism and coming to God. I don't see that in Spencer's future. And I could be wrong. This is all just armchair psychology, so don't get up my ass about it. But again, and I'm not even looking at the chat right now, but if I look over at the chat, I swear, and I see a bunch of motherfuckers whining about counter signaling, I might just throw you out of the fucking chat because I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of y'all dick riding fans wanting to hide behind that when you know you don't hold them accountable to that same standard. And I don't want to hear any fucking comments about it either. All right. Depending on what mood I am, I might fucking delete the comment. I don't want to hear it. So the other thing Spencer was rambling on about, this triggered me, to borrow a phrase from the left. Is he was rambling on about, March had some good ideas and all this other bullshit. Because of course he was. Here's the thing. If I hear you running around talking about, and this goes for a lot of you motherfuckers on the alt-right, when I hear you running around like, economics doesn't matter, we'll sort that out later, and it's usually the semi-socialist cocksuckers that are saying that because they know they can't defend it now, because they can't defend it ever. It doesn't fucking work. But y'all are running around, economics doesn't matter, or socialism can work with white people, or whatever other dumb shit coming out of your mouth. Here's the thing. Saying economics doesn't matter, that tells me that you have never gone fucking hungry. All right? You've never had the fucking lights go out because you couldn't pay the bill. You've never dug fucking change out from under the seat of your car to put some fucking gas in your tank so you could get home, which I've done. Now, granted, that was when gas was considerably cheaper and you could at least wet the fucking bottom of the tank with, you know, slightly under $2 and change. But I've done that. All right. And I was never really, really poor, but I've been broke, really flat fucking broke a few times in my life. And again, I've been fortunate, and I know I've been fortunate. When you're running around talking about economics doesn't matter, fucking bullshit, okay? Economics matters. It has mattered since the dawn of our fucking species, all right? Since we crawled out of the fucking trees or were thrown out of the garden, depending on what you believe. It mattered then. It matters now. It'll matter till the very fucking moment the good Lord draws the curtain on you, on the drama of human history. It has always mattered. It will always matter. And when you're running around talking about it doesn't matter or some nonsense like that, it's because you've never gone hungry. You've probably been a spoiled fucking brat your whole life. I know Spencer has. He was a fucking trust fund baby. All right. Come on, let's deal with the real. All right. Spencer's never had. I don't believe Spencer's worked a day in his fucking life, has he? I could be wrong, but I highly doubt he has. I highly doubt he's had to stand behind the counter at a fucking Burger King and eat shit from some asshole customer or something along those lines. I highly fucking doubt it. Now, look, economics isn't all that matters. All right. And I had this discussion with somebody the other day when they were talking about, well, capitalism is amoral, so it's bad. Capitalism is amoral because it's just fucking economics. All right. It doesn't speak to morality any more than fucking physics does. Okay. That's not its place. There's no such thing as a capitalist society, by the way, because an economic system in and of itself is not a society. There are societies that have capitalistic markets, and they're usually better for it. No, scratch that. They're always fucking better for it. They may have other faults that perhaps maybe get amplified through capitalism. But the fault isn't in capitalism. All right. If you expect it to make a society out of it, you know, yeah, that's going to fail. It's one dimension of society, but it's a fucking important one. All right. And don't act like it's not. Don't act like it's not. You know, yeah, I know man does not live by bread alone, certainly. But you know what? Man sure as shit doesn't live without bread, does he? And before any of you paleo motherfuckers in there are like, oh, Atkins died, I don't eat bread. You don't be fucking autistic. Bread being generic term for food. Or in this case, even generic term for money. Yeah. Money don't matter until you don't got any. I'm so sick of hearing this bullshit. Economics doesn't matter. It's not that important. We're going to deal with other stuff. No, bullshit. The only reason you're able to deal with other shit is because you have money in your fucking pocket. Trust me, when there ain't no money in your pocket, it's pretty much the first thing that fucking matters. Yeah, I'm so sick of hearing that shit. And again, it's from spoiled motherfuckers that never worked a day in their life. Never fucking worked a day in their life. Spencer never worked a fucking day in his life. No. Never fucking worked a day in his life. You know? And half these fucking alt-right motherfuckers that not all of them, don't be like, well, this guy's not like, no, I'm talking, you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. Don't be fucking obtuse about it. All right? You know the types. You know the little fucking autistic 19-year-old on Twitter who never kissed a girl or worked a day in his life because he's in college studying history or something else that's never going to make him any fucking money. No, economics isn't all that matters. Money isn't all that matters. And if you think money is all that matters, you're in for a world of hurt one day, one way or another. But I'll tell you what, it fucking matters. It matters. You know, you sit in church on Sunday afternoon and, you know, the collection plate comes along, doesn't it? And yeah, that's because, you give to the church and it's honoring God and all that good shit. But, it's also, I mean, God doesn't need your money. He could have told you to take that tithe and just burn it like the pagan gods say. Just burn it. Like, that's how you give it to me. But no, he realized, hey, you know what? The church needs to pay its bills, doesn't it? Church needs to keep running. The temple needs to keep running. So I'm going to take that money. Because you know what? Salvation may be free, but the rent isn't. So those churches don't continue to exist if you ain't putting the money in the collection plate. Because money matters. Hell, I'm pretty sure it's damn near one of the top topics in the fucking Bible is talking about your money. All right? It matters. And you're naive as fuck and or intellectually dishonest to imagine for a moment that it doesn't. The other thing I wanted to talk about while I'm on this thing of the alt right here is it's like my biggest frustration with these guys, because I want to be on board with so much of this shit. I'm very fond of my racial heritage. I very much want white people to continue to exist, but I just cannot get on board with the absolutist nature of a lot of these guys out there. Race matters, but it's not all that matters. And sorry from counter signaling or something, but I just can't get on board with it. Again, in the same way they want to imagine, it's just it's having priorities out of whack. And it comes from a lot of these guys being some manner of fucking fedora. I think Spencer had a God is dead tweet or something. He's, your priorities tend to get out of whack when you don't have God at the center of things. I'm sorry if that triggers some fedoras in the audience, but that's just a fact. That's why you end up with people that imagining money doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter until you got done. That's why you imagine people that think that nothing matters but race. Race matters. It certainly does. It's not all that matters. I'm pretty sure TJ, the anal atheist, he's all white, isn't he? I don't believe there's any other breeds in him. He's a white man through and through. See your fucking brother? So I'll tell you what, he's not my brother. Not by a fucking long shot. And there's quite a few men of other races I would much sooner call my brother than him. Much sooner. And you know what? If years after I'm gone, if I have a grandson somewhere, or great-grandson or something, I'd rather he be more like Tommy Sotomayor than fucking TJ. I'll tell you that right now. Now, ideally, I would rather he be white, period. But all other things being equal, I'd rather he be white. But, yeah, I'd like to preserve the white race, but not all of it. I'll tell you that much right now. There's a good portion of it needs to die to fuck off. So, yeah. Any of you hardcore white nationalists out there? I mean, is TJ your brother? Is fucking Bob Chipman your brother? I don't know. Fucking DSP? Yeah, take all the shots, all that good stuff. All those guys I like to harp on. But they're just such great examples. Are they you fucking brothers? Because ain't my brother. What about Jonathan McIntosh? Huh? How about him? That's a pure blood white man, I believe. Are you your fucking brother? What about Lacey Green, huh? But I don't think she's got any parentheses around her name or anything like that. I believe she's a white woman, isn't she? Is that who you're fighting to preserve? I saw this great tweet. I think it was Earl of Grey. I think it was. He was making fun of the anime Twitter guys the anime Nazis and all, where he's like, post a picture of a blonde J.C. Penney's model who probably despises everything I believe in and stand for. I'm fighting to preserve her. Yeah. Whitney, Wisconsin. That your sister? You fighting to preserve Whitney, Wisconsin? That you fighting must secure a future for Whitney, Wisconsin? Is that what we're doing here? I mean, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm hardly gone down the common filth route where just fuck white people or anything like that. No, I would much rather there be a significant amount of white people in the world going forward. And generally speaking, things tend to go a little better when they tend to be the ones in charge. It tends to be a happier and freer world than some of the other options on the table. But I'll tell you what, I just cannot get behind the absolutist nature of some of this shit. I just can't. And I don't know. Maybe that's the world we live in now, where it's got to be fucking all or nothing on every political thing anymore. I don't know. I guess I'm politically useless because I can't get behind that shit. I just can't. But yeah, you want the white race to survive, then how about you work on making the white race worthy to fucking survive? Because I got news for you. There's nothing stopping white people from surviving than fucking white people. Understand that. I don't give me any crap about the Jews. Yeah, I know the Jews fucking, the merchant sells us all kinds of poison. Sure. But we fucking buy it, don't we? Yeah, we fucking buy it. So yeah, there ain't nothing stopping the white man from thriving than the white man. Europe in a fucking weekend could solve its problem. Just fucking deport kebab. Just fucking remove them. Maybe you let the fucking Indians stay because they're running your 7-Elevens or something. Maybe you let some of them stay, but you fucking remove kebab because they're trying to kill you. But no, you just roll over and show your belly because you don't want to be called racist. And hell, it doesn't even have to be that level of a purge. I mean, if you just fucking nut it up and demand it that the people around you fucking act like civilized people, then sure enough, you're going to be able to deal with the ones who won't. All right. I don't want to ramble on about that shit too much. There was other shit I wanted to talk about. But first on that Osuchiri rant of mine, let's go ahead and do the sponsor, shall we? Sponsor for this wonderful little live stream is Reconnaissance Man by Aaron Clarey. If you find yourself at a crossroads, this is a book that'll help you step back, take some stock, help you take a good look at what it is you want to accomplish and how to focus in on that like a laser. So yeah, good book. As I said before, I've seen at least one of Aaron Clarey's books literally change a young lady's life for the better. So yeah, check that book out. Available in physical format, audiobook format, and Kindle format. So do check it out. And also, down below, you'll see the tip jar, where if you appreciate this program, you like what I'm doing, tips of any size are greatly appreciated. And, all honesty, they are particularly appreciated right now. I'm hardly destitute, but, and I've got the unemployment and all that shit until I find something else after that layoff. But, unemployment isn't quite what you were making. And things are rather tight. So, yeah, if you appreciate the program, any size tips, greatly appreciated. Big or small, even if all y'all threw in $1, that'd be quite the boon. All right, so that's all we got. That's enough e-bagging and shilling for this live stream. Okay, So the other thing I wanted to talk about, this actually is what really triggered me, no pun intended, into doing this live stream. Let me see if I can bring it up. Bringing up the thing. So Jim, Mr. Matoker, I feel weird calling him Jim because I don't know the guy. You know, never really even talked to him. But Jim is what we know him by. So good old Jim has started his channel Awesome Video Series finally. And his internet, sorry, I'm brain farting here. His Doug Walker video, his Nostalgia Critic video, was extremely even-handed. It really was. Very fair to the guy. But, you know, he wanted to start off with the linchpin of the site and give a really solid analysis. And again, very fair. Absolutely very fair. He's probably going to be considerably harsher when he gets to say Spoonie, and rightfully so, because fuck Spoonie. Fuck Spoonie. You know, if there's one bone I'd have to pick with Razor Fist. Now, I've had Razor Fist on here numerous times. I'm a big fan of Razor Fist. But honestly, I do not for the life of me understand why Razor Fist insists on white knighting for Spoonie. Razor Fist constantly defends fucking Spoonie, and I don't get it. I mean, honestly, Razor, you're fucking better than Spoonie. Your videos are better than Spoonie. You don't put as much production value into them, but if you did, you'd be better than Spoonie. You'd be better than Spoonie was at the height that is absolute prime. You are smarter, funnier, and more talented than Spoonie. I really do not get why you insist on defending that fucking train wreck of a human being. But, you know, I don't know. But anyways, Matoker's probably going to really rip into Spoonie. He's probably going to really rip into Linkara, which that I feel a little bad for Linkara. Linkara seems like a nice enough guy. I know he's had his questionable browsing history put out there, but Linkara never struck me as a douche in like a malicious way that a lot of the other ones did. He's just sort of an athby who lacks some social grace. I mean, don't get me wrong, Linkara is annoying as shit when he whines about Frank Miller's misogyny and all that shit. I don't know. Just on a personal level, Linkara doesn't seem like an absolute shithead. But hey, maybe that's just me, you know, defending someone when I probably shouldn't. But anyways, a lot of these people are concerned, shall we say. The one guy, Jacob Chapman, his Twitter handle is at ANNJakeH. By the way, if you go on my Twitter, you'll see the screenshot that Mr. Matoker put up. He's like, hey guys, so I've left my old videos floating around for a while, but now, due to recent events, I think that should come to an end. He goes on, if you've rehosted any of my old videos, I'd like to request that you take them down. It's for personal safety reasons, if that helps. You know, whatever. The left never has to worry about that kind of shit, as much as they whine harassment. It's people on the right that get their lives destroyed for even something as mundane as thinking white people have a right to exist or there's two fucking genders. But I'd like to minimize creeper access to my life and past for the time being. By the way, I don't know who the fuck Jacob Chapman is. I don't know who the fuck he is at all. All right. And I used to watch the channel Awesome Crowd. And granted, it's probably like 2013, 2014 that I want to say 2015 might have been the last time I ever went to the site. It's been years. But I dug through even like the B and C lister guys on there. I never heard of this cocksucker. Did any of you in the chat know who the fuck this is? You know, because maybe he just covered shit I didn't care about. Maybe he was the guy that covered fucking Doctor Who and Animu and some bullshit that I didn't care about or something. That could have been it. But do any of you people know who the hell he is? Because I sure as don't. All right. But anyways, he's all whining, but it's personal safety. And then other people hop in here like Suede is like, should I be worried too? The only thing, if I'm even got the right guy right. But I think Suede, is he like the French dude that sings the credit song at the end of Phaellus's videos? Maybe that's him. I don't think I've ever watched any of his videos because his accent. I've tried, but his accent in broken English I just can't get through it. But that's the only place I know him from, if I'm even thinking of the right guy. Well, Linkara then retweets it with a link above it saying thread, and then Jacob says thanks for the assist. I'm not even sure what the hell that's about. Is like Linkara letting bosses know to take his videos off Channel Awesome or something? But anyways, it's a bunch of motherfuckers I've never heard of that I guess were on Channel Awesome, or maybe the fans or something. I don't know. But like one of them was all like who's doing the videos? And it's like a dude heavily involved with the Gamergate crowd who started making a series of videos on Channel Awesome people. This is something right here. But yeah, I wonder how far this, like, okay, so these are, from what I can tell, the D and C listers. And frankly, I highly doubt that Jim is about ready to do a video on Jacob Chapman. I really don't think that's one of the 8 that's coming. Maybe if he was doing 80 of them, Jacob could expect to be one of the videos, but I highly doubt. If I had to guess, I'd say definitely we're going to get a Spoonie video. Definitely we're going to get a Linkara video. That poor bastard. Just because those two are the funniest ones. Spoonie's an absolute fucking train wreck, and then Linkara's is funny because of his him browsing history. But you're gonna get those two. You're definitely gonna get Nostalgic Cunt, and probably Todd in the watching chair. It's funny, I call him Todd in the watching chair because that sounds cucky, but really Todd in the shadows kind of fits the cuck thing too. Off in the shadowy corner watching. But Todd might just be on Lindsay's video. So, I mean, that's 4, maybe 5 videos right there. I mean, maybe you get an Angry Joe. So, I don't know all who he's doing, but I highly fucking doubt Jacob Chapman is getting a video. I highly doubt Jacob Chapman, by the time this series is done, let me put it this way. He's going to get a mention somewhere, because Jim's going to be laughing about how scared he was. But before that, I think you were probably safe, Jacob. Because who the fuck are you? But again, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe he covered something I'm not fucking familiar with. He could have been, I don't know. Yeah, maybe he fucking reviewed Buffy episodes or something. That stuff, that one guy, Blockbuster Buster, I used to watch his videos, and he was fucking way too obsessed with Buffy, because of course he was, a little beta nerd. God, yes, guy's got to fucking stop being so obsessed with Buffy. He was also really obsessed with the Doctor Who, but he did some interesting videos on movies that I liked, and he did a retrospective on Darkwing Duck that was pretty interesting. Yeah, it's a shame. I want to like a lot. I wish there were more good Channel Awesome type videos out there. I really do. I miss them. By the way, Matt Forning just says in the comments, I just Googled Jacob Chapman and discovered that he's actually a she. No, really, she's a female to male tranny. Huh, well, how about that? Somebody says Beckloff watches weird stuff. Well, I don't know. Erod was all right. Someone says Beckloff reading the comments at all. I'm just now looking over. I really haven't been paying much attention. The one I really hope he does a full-on video on Lindsay Awesome, because that's the one that had, first of all, I mean, she's absolute garbage. Todd is absolute garbage. But then, like, she had that fucking pedo working for her. She had that dude that, like, fucking tried to frame people for child pornography or something with the Dan Olson or something like that. That fucking maniac on there. Someone says Beckloff tweet or Skype at Jim for him to come on. Well, why don't you guys do that? Okay, I just you know. He doesn't know who I am. I doubt he wants to come on. So yeah, I'm not gonna. Don't even fucking message him. He probably not even at his computer. He's probably banging that Asian girlfriend of his. And good for him. Pedo Dan, yeah. Somebody says in there, trainees tend to be narcissists, quotation marks. I would not be surprised. You know, I actually heard an interesting theory about and I mean, I hardly have my pulse on the finger of the tranny community, so maybe this isn't even a thing but there was a lot of male to female transsexuals that would then be like, now I'm a lesbian, which I mean, that was a joke I used to make like 15 years ago. Oh, I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body because I like to eat pussy, you know? It was a fucking joke. Motherfuckers ran with that shit like it was real. Like, and I heard other people make that joke too. I didn't think it up. I ripped it off from somewhere. I don't remember where. But I actually heard a psychologist, one of these fucking manosphere blogs or somebody that at least claimed to have a psychology background. And it sounded like he did from his writings. But he argued that that sort of thing was actually sort of malignant, dysfunctional hyper heterosexuality. In other words, that this person who decided to become this man that decided to become a lesbian was so enamored with the opposite sex that he not only wanted to be with him, but also be them. And I think there's probably something to that. But anyways, enough armchair psychology on that. Somebody says, fun fact, Linkara's Training X, Iron Liz, supported Gamergate. Yeah, Iron Liz, I mean, aside from, being a tranny, and yes, I'm sorry, that means you're mentally ill. But other than that, seemed like a decent person, more or less. I mean, at least by the measure of Channel Awesome people. Let me put it that way. If you're grading on a curve for Channel Awesome people, Iron Liz was one of the amazing. That's how fucked up the Channel Awesome people are. A fucking transsexual turns out to be one of the most sane among them. That's how fucked they are. Why date a tranny? Nothing down there works. I don't know if Iron Liz was pre-op or post-op. So I don't know. And I come to think of it, I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about it either. Who from Channel Awesome said if Jew Warrior was still alive, he would be anti-Gamergate? Was it Todd? It was Todd. And here's what happened. Somebody tweeted at Todd defending Gamergate early on because this was when people still thought guys like Todd could be reasoned with. And that person had, like, when Jew Warrior killed himself, a lot of people in memory and respect for him and all that stuff put the little yellow Wario hat in their Twitter avatar or Facebook or YouTube, whatever, and that was just a in memoriam thing, for him. And so Todd saw that this person tweeting him had that in his avatar and decided to bring him up, decided to hide behind this man's corpse for an attempt at moral superiority, because that's the kind of man, and I'm using that term in the loosest sense, that Todd in the Shadows is. And again, really sad because Todd in the Shadows is actually a talented music critic. He's got a good ear for music theory. He's good at what he does. I haven't watched him in years because I know he's a reprehensible shitbag, and it just makes it hard to watch, even if the video is good. But it's a shame. It's a shame. Let's see. Buffalo Bill is the patron saint of trannies. Probably. Somebody says, I've been naturally becoming less into geek culture with school, philosophy, church, etc., replacing that shit just into Rick and Morty and Overwatch at the moment. You know, part of why I liked like Channel Awesome type videos is because I felt like I could become familiar with certain pop culture things without having to dive into them firsthand. You know, um, like I've watched a few basic overview videos of Doctor Who just because I have friends that like Doctor Who, and it's nice to know what the fuck they're talking about if they're rambling on about it or something. Um, so it was kind of nice from that standpoint. Um, and it would kind of show you like maybe stuff you could check out that might be up your alley without having to dive fucking face first into all that shit and try and swim through it, you know? But I must admit, I'm not as much into a lot of that shit as I used to be. I mean, I'll read a few comic books here and there. There's very little I read anymore, comic book wise, because very little of it is worth reading. Um, and you know, I like to collect old retro games, but that's even that I don't. I mean, right now I got to watch my money, so it's not like I've bought anything along those lines in a while. Although I did just today buy a PSP because I actually just had some store credit at that retro game store, enough to cover it. And I wanted to play Mega Man Powered Up for a while, so I got a PSP and I ordered a cheap copy of Mega Man Powered Up online. But by and large, I don't buy a lot of that shit because I got to watch my money right now. Let's see. Most of the people I knew who talked about Doctor Who never shut up about it. Yeah, I hear you on that. But again, it was more just like if I'm around buddies that make a Doctor Who reference and they start laughing, and then I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It was more just to know what the hell they're saying about it. I actually think Doctor Who has really interesting kind of mythos behind it, and kind of like the concepts behind it are interesting. It's just the newer Doctor Who is just about paused faggotry is the problem. It'll be really interesting to see where Jim's Channel Awesome series goes. He's already frightened some folks with it. And I have to wonder, like, behind closed doors, how are guys like Linkara and Spoonie reacting to this? How's Lindsay Ellis reacting to this? I mean, well, I don't know. She might actually be able to up her Patreon afterwards, Oh, I'm being attacked by a misogynist. I need some money. And fucking White Knights, like, just pour the money into her. So he says, next month, is he doing Spoonie? I don't know what he's doing next month. I don't think he's announced it. Yeah. I don't know. So he says Doom 4 was amazing, much more superior game than I don't know what they're talking about here. Somebody said Spoonie probably killed himself by now. I don't know. 50-50 shot, I guess. Somebody says, I thought the next one was on Angry Joe. Well, that could be an interesting one, too. Good old 7 Shekel Sanchez. Jim said Spoonie is next. Good. I hope Spoonie is next. Spoonie fucking has it coming. What a piece of shit he is. Let's see. Uncharted 4 deserved what it got. The studio actually admitted to taking inspiration from Anita Sarkeesian. Well, then I'm sure it sucked. I don't know anything about it besides that, but I'm sure it sucked if it took, unless they just decided to make Anita Sarkeesian the bad guy. Is there a death pool on Spoonie yet? Every day that man manages to not put a gun in his mouth as a gift from the God he doesn't believe in. So he says, did Beckloff ever own a Sega Genesis? Yeah, I had a Sega Genesis when I was a kid. I have one now, in fact. When I was a kid, I had an NES, and then I was able to get another system after that, and it was either a Genesis or a Super Nintendo, and I chose the Genesis. And actually, when I got back into video games in like 05, and I had been out of video games since like the mid to late 90s, so I skipped basically that whole N64, PlayStation 1 generation. When I got back into video games, that I got a PS2 that year, but before that even, my girlfriend at the time, because I was looking for one, I just didn't know where you could find one, actually ordered a Sega Genesis for me online, so I got it again then. And yeah, so, I mean, that was basically when I got back into video games, that was the first system I bought. And then right after that, a PS2, which was the current at the time. Angry Joe isn't much of a low-cal like Spoonie. No, Angry Joe's more just a fucking sellout shill. He really is. He's also a dumbass who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about half the time. He has a good energy about him. Like his actual delivery. Angry Joe's the kind of guy you like when you first discover him, and then you realize that he really doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's just a shill. But he has a really good delivery about him. Like he seems genuine. He's not, but he seems it. Let's see. I got a Genesis as a kid, had a copy of Streets of Rage 2 in the box. Best present ever. Yep. Let's see when I got that Genesis, I got she got it for me with Sonic 1 and 2. And like a few months later I'd ordered there wasn't even a retro game store in my area that I knew of yet. But I had ordered online Maximum Carnage and Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Let's see. Angry Joe's reviews are based on hype. Oh yeah, he's very good at saying nothing, but at first glance it seems like he said something. Angry Joe has an act that's tolerable for a 5-minute video, but he drags it out for a fucking hour. Here's the thing. I actually think, like, if you had somebody writing Angry Joe episodes that knew what the fuck he was talking about, and you had Joe's delivery, you'd have something that, I mean, would be really, really special. But whatever. I mean, he's got enough success as is. And that. Let's see. Remember when Libtards got mad at Angry Joe because he was shooting guns in a video? I do not remember that. So he said, I got a Sega CD attachment and played the Third World War until I went blind. When I was a kid, I got the 32X attachment. I got it because I wanted to play Doom because we didn't have a PC that could play it. And Doom on a 32X, at least at the time, was about the best port you could get. When the Super Nintendo port was basically unplayable. The PS1 version is pretty good, as is Doom 64. But as I said, I kind of skipped that generation. But I was able to get a 32X for Christmas, and I got Doom on it. Oddly enough, my very deeply religious grandmother bought me Doom just because, she was of the mindset, get him what he wants. He's a good boy. He didn't do nothing. Let's see. 32X was sweet. I actually have, I just recently, maybe it was a year or two ago now, but I got a working 32X again, and I got Knuckles Chaotix, which I really want to like, but man, the gameplay of the holding on to the rings together, I just can't get behind it. But I love Knuckles, and I like the characters that are introduced in Chaotix, but I got that. I got Doom, of course, and I got Spider-Man Web of Fire. What was interesting, I actually have a reproduction card of it for the 32X, because I got the 32X and I was like, I remember there being a Spider-Man game on that. So I searched Spider-Man 32X and Web of Fire comes up on Amazon. It's like $250 for a loose cart. I'm like, what the fucking hell? So then I saw on Etsy somebody had They had that, and they had, I think, Blackthorn for the 32X. I want to say Blackthorn. But they had reproduction cards of them because I guess they're expensive. Let's see. Somebody says 32X had the fart soundtrack. You know, the one criticism I always see on the 32X Doom port is, well, it had really terrible music, and the Super Nintendo had the better music. Well, you couldn't fucking see what you were doing on the Super Nintendo port, so I think that's a bit more important. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not a metal guy, so I could do without the Doom music. Usually, I think I would often go into like the options and turn the music off because I kind of liked it better that way. You know, it's kind of just quiet, just you and hearing the gurgle or growl of a monster somewhere down there you gotta go kill. I like that, you know, just you and the demons, you know. Blackthorn is fucking great. If it's the same game I'm thinking of, Project did a review of, I guess, the Super Nintendo version. Let's see. I can't play Doom without music. Again, I don't particularly like the Doom music. John Steele says, if Hulk and Doomsday had a fight, who would win? I want to say Hulk. Okay, I'm gonna nerd out on the Death of Superman story for a second here, because it's something that always bugs me. So Doomsday shows up. By the way, Doomsday was supposed to be a completely different character than what he became. Doomsday was supposed to be basically like a Joker character, personality-wise. In fact, in the comics, he's actually seen, in the original story, he's seen laughing. There's one storyline where he holds out his hand and a bird lands in it and he crushes the bird. And he's just causing mayhem for its own sake. And that doesn't jive with how we would retcon Doomsday later to be a mindless animal. And the reason he was retconned to that is because when he announced that he was going to be, quote, an escapee from a cosmic insane asylum, there were actually mental health groups that were whining. This was like the beginning of PC bullshit pressure on comics. So they were all like, hey, whining. And, you know, they were like, oh, you're just making fun of mentally ill people or whatever. And so they changed it. But originally, Doomsday was going to be a Joker-like character, personality-wise, which would have actually been really interesting. Because, I mean, what's the biggest problem with the Joker creatively? Eventually, the elephant in the room becomes, why hasn't someone killed him? Well, with Doomsday, the answer would be because no one can. But anyways, getting back. It occurred to me, even as a kid, when I read that story, I'm like, okay, any Green Lantern should be able to solve this fucking problem. And Guy Gardner at the time had a yellow ring like Sinestro, but did the same thing, creates energy constructs and that sort of thing. He should have been able to solve the problem. Okay, because remember, Doomsday can't fly. All right? Yeah, he's super strong, but he can't fly. So you know what you do? You knock him up in the air with some sort of blast. You form a big old energy construct hand, and you grab his ankle, and you just start flying up, right? Grabbed him by the ankle, flying him up, to orbit, basically. And yeah, he might be able to reach up and break the construct or something, punch it or something. But big deal. You just make another one real quick, and you just fly him up. You get him in orbit. He's in orbit. He can't fucking do anything. He doesn't fly under his own power. He can just jump. All right. So then you just throw the fucker on, into the sun or something. Throw him onto Venus. Let him hop around on fucking Venus. He ain't gonna be hurting nobody there. Yeah, it might not kill him, but he's not gonna get out of it. Let's see. Matt Forney asked, changing the subject very deeply from a silly comic book story to, hey, Beckloff, I've noticed this weird trend of porn videos that are about soft incest, step siblings having sex, boys fucking stepmoms, etc. What do you think this says about society? Well, look, I actually had this talk on Forney's live stream years ago. I mean, 2013, something like that, where I said, look, porn is a reflection of our id, our collective id. And it's very telling that porn has gotten darker. I don't even mean more intense. I mean meaner almost, You get shit like just fucking, you know, what's that one, facial abuse, or you get fucking cuckold shit and all, where it's just really mean because just the sexes don't like each other anymore. We've been put at war with each other through the fucking feminism and horse shit like that. As for, the incest shit, I don't know. It's just another taboo to fucking, I mean, you can get all kinds of Freudian on you on this, but I don't know. I really try to not watch any porn anymore. And on the off times that I do slip up and and partake of that, I just watch like a cute chick fingering herself or something because I've seen such nasty porn in my day, and it's like, oh, a cute girl just fucking rubbing herself is downright life affirming anymore. Um, let's see what else we got here in the chat. Um, I would guess people from broken families are primarily the target. I guess. Let's see. So he says, "Oh shit, I remember you and Arini talking about this shit. That was so fucking long ago." Well, I know I did a big ass fucking, I think it was like 3 hours long podcast with Forney. I was in Syracuse for a retro game con a few years ago. I guess I was in there November, so because it was 2 years before, so I guess 2014. And we were talking about that. And it was actually when I met William Rome. He stopped by too. The pair of them like stopped by my hotel and we recorded. But yeah, it was this huge fucking 3 hour live stream. I think we ended up like just chatting with each other for like 2 hours afterwards, even. Forney should have just kept the tape rolling and just turned it into a damn near series. Let's see. Have you heard about the current news with Daddy 05? The last I heard was the two youngest, which are from a previous marriage that Daddy 05 had. They got taken and put with their birth mother, which is most likely a step up. I know there are some concerns that she's bipolar and stuff like that, but I can't imagine she's any worse than where those kids were. So Daddy 05 is now Daddy 03, which is good. Let's see. Somebody says, somebody says, I really don't see the appeal to porn. It's fucking disgusting, really. Well, okay. I mean, the appeal is that men like to have sex. And if they can't have sex, they like to see people have sex, I guess is the appeal. I'm not sure where the secret is on that, but all right. So he says, wait, so the one son they harass is still with him? The two youngest ones, Cody was the one that caught the worst of it. He is now with his birth mother. The young daughter who caught the second worst of it is with the birth mother. The oldest kids are apparently that woman's. I don't believe they're that guy's at all. I think they're from a previous marriage too. I don't think any of those kids belong to both those parents. So he says, "Oh, good, Cody is safe." Yeah, it appears so. Cody will eventually make it Daddy 0 when he kills everyone. It was getting there. Cody was losing his shit, literally. Apparently, he was like that. They mentioned in a video that he was smearing shit on the walls, which is apparently according to some children's psychologists, it's apparently a rather common coping mechanism kids have when they have like severe post-traumatic stress or shit like that. Let's see. the real dad of those other kids are trying to get custody. Honestly, those older kids are probably fucked beyond help. They're probably little sociopaths themselves at this point. Thoughts on Netflix removing part of the old Bill Nye episode where he said gender is called by chromosomes? I heard something about that. I can't confirm it, but I mean, it makes sense, you know. Bill Nye, the anti-science guy. I fucking love science, but I don't believe in chromosomes. Let's see. So he says instead of book burning, VHS burning. Let's see what else we got going on here. Went on for about an hour. I'll give the chat a minute here to ask any other last minute questions, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's see what we got going on here. I cannot wait for Matoger's next video on the Channel Awesome Crowd. I mean, I don't want to rush the guy, but you know, that's an important video series. I really think that's gonna. Let's see. Somebody says saw Hacksaw Ridge, great movie. Yeah, I've been meaning to see that. I'm probably gonna see Guardians of the Galaxy 2 tomorrow. I know Nostalgia Chick has done some shady shit. Oh, she has. She's perhaps the worst of the bunch. Let's see. Why do you give a shit about Channel Awesome? Well, because I like geek culture. I like my fellow geeks, and I don't like these fucking hipster leftist parasites that have done terrible things to geek culture. You know, that these are people that shitted up my hobby. Is why I give a shit about it. They walked into my hobby and they shitted up the place. Let's see. You know, like, look, I said this years ago, and I'll stand by it to this day. Two things that, if we get a little bit of red pill, for lack of a better term, if we shift these things rightward, then we're going to turn Western civilization around. And that's geek culture, for lack of a better term, because that's an imagination of a culture right there. Okay. Out of that comes great writers and, you know, kids that grow up into that shit will one day become writers and you know, they'll create the arts and entertainment of our culture. That's the imagination of our culture. And the other is the church. That's the soul of our culture. You get those two things to shift right. Everything else is going to just fall into place. Let's see. So is it true Nostalgia Chick having an abortion is real? Yes. Yes, she did indeed. She did indeed have an abortion. In fact, she had a fucking quote unquote video documentary or something where she walked around with this little plastic model of a fetus that was like 2 inches big, and she would just take pictures of it in certain locations, like tourist trappy locations, because she thought that was LOL edgy, out the edge. So yeah, that was something she actually fucking bragged about. In fact, back when I used to do the MGTOW link thing, right? When I used to do my troll account on Twitter, I think I mentioned this a couple of streams ago that the first one was MGTOW link and the second one was alt-right link. Because of course the first one got showed, the second one got showed, and I just never set up another one after that. But the way I got her to block me, so I know she saw it, and it was right around the time. It was in October and all, and it was all like, I think for Halloween this year, I'm going to dress up as the ghost of Lindsay Ellis as a bored little bastard. And that's why she blocked me. So I know she saw it. So yeah, that was I missed doing the trolling Twitter account. I might. Well, now I've like said it to everybody and all, so I can't use any link shit again. I can't use the dark link persona with the little bio that says Ganon was right. Can't do that anymore. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. Let's see. All right. So yeah, if you enjoy the show, guys, if you enjoy the stream, I appreciate it. Do check out the sponsor below, Reconnaissance Man by Aaron Clary, and any tips for the tip jar would be greatly appreciated, particularly in my current situation. So, thanks a lot, folks. I appreciate you all tuning out to listen, and that's all we got for tonight, folks. Beckloff out.